The envelope was certified. Somebody paid extra to watch me sign for my own humiliation. Inside, a real invoice, balance due, $80,000. My mother-in-law had mailed it 4 months after the divorce. At the bottom, in tight blue cursive, family pays its debts. I didn't call a lawyer. I opened a green folder I'd kept for 7 years. What I mailed back 48 hours later made the certified letter stop for good. Welcome back to Lineage of Lies, where the quietest person at the table often keeps the most careful records. I'm Anna Ashford. I'm 34, a bookkeeper. This is the invoice that changed everything. I read it 3 times. The first time I laughed. The second I noticed the line item, wedding services rendered, like my marriage was a catering order. The third time my hand shook, not over the money. Over 7 years of my life reduced to a balance due. Then my phone buzzed. Bethany, Grant's sister. You know what you owe. No question. They'd built a story, and in it, I was the thief. I grew up in a cold house with a mother working 2 jobs. I learned early, numbers don't lie, people do. I became a bookkeeper, bought my own little house. I was proud of it. But my strength had a shadow. I fixed things quietly, wrote checks without being asked, kept receipts I never showed anyone. I told myself that was grace. I believe that less now, because for 7 years a green folder in my desk was quietly filling up with the cost of loving people who never planned to pay me back. Marlene wasn't a cartoon villain. She grew up on a failing farm, married into a struggling one, guarded the family ledger like scripture. Somewhere in the lean years she stopped believing anything given could simply be given. Nothing in this family is free, she'd say. When Grant and I got engaged, she paid for the wedding. I thought it was kindness. It was an investment. At the rehearsal dinner she leaned close. You married up, Anna. Settle up. She wasn't joking. She was reading me the terms. My marriage ended over 1,000 small things, nearly all with dollar signs. Grant was gentle, funny, and incapable of facing a problem. Year 2, his truck loan underwater, I paid $18,400. Year 3, DUI, lawyer and fines, $9,200. His mother's roof failed, $14,500. Hidden back taxes, $11,300. A food truck he abandoned, $16,000. Each time I logged it in the green folder. Not as a loan, just a record. I couldn't have told you why. It turns out that instinct was the only thing that would save me. I left quietly. Grant had let his mother move money from our savings without telling me. She needed it, he said, like our savings were just Marlene's reserve fund. I filed for divorce, asked for nothing that wasn't mine, kept my house. The judge signed on a gray Tuesday. I thought it was over. Marlene thought it was the day her billing cycle came due. 4 months later, that envelope proved which of us understood the situation. My attorney, Rebecca, laughed. Legally it's nothing. Don't pay a cent. Then she added, but socially, she just handed the town a story. And stories don't care about the law. Marlene wasn't trying to win in court. She was trying to win in the pews and the produce aisle, where the whole town keeps score. 9 days later, a second letter, heavy paper, phrases like outstanding obligation, signed by Dale Renner, paralegal, Marlene's cousin who wanted people to think he was a lawyer. He threatened court but suggested church mediation. I saw the plan. The church was the real venue, wrap the shakedown in faith, count on me being too tired to show up. Then Bethany posted in the church group, praying for our family. Some people take and never think about what they owe. No names. By evening, a woman I barely knew texted condolences in a tone that made it clear she'd already chosen a side. I started typing a long, furious post. My thumb hovered over send. Then I stopped. You don't beat someone by picking up their weapon. Hers was noise. Mine was documentation, cold, dated, undeniable. I deleted every word, opened the bottom drawer, and took out the green folder. I called Tom Beck, an accountant I trust. I need a formal statement. Every dollar I paid on behalf of that family, sourced and totaled on letterhead. He asked why. I said, someone sent me a bill. I'm making sure the account is complete. That night I spread the folder across my table. Bank statements, transfers, copies of checks. Notes in my shorthand: truck, lawyer, roof, taxes, food truck, tuition, funeral. 7 stacks. Then I found a sheet I'd forgotten, a feed store receipt, 5 years old. On the back, in Walter Voss's handwriting. Keep your receipts, Anna. Kindness and proof were never enemies. I remembered. Before his heart gave out, I'd helped him sort the farm's books. He pressed that paper into my hand. I thought it was farmer's advice. Now I understood, he knew his wife. He knew she could rewrite a gift into a debt. He was warning me that one day being good wouldn't be enough, I'd need proof. I added it up. Truck $18,400. DUI $9,200. Roof $14,500. Taxes $11,300. Food truck $16,000. Bethany's tuition $7,600. Walter's funeral, I was the one who quietly paid to bury him, $6,800. I ran the tape twice. Tom confirmed it days later, $83,800. Marlene billed me $80,000. I'd already paid $83,800. I'd overpaid by $3,800 before she ever wrote the invoice. The whole story reversed, I wasn't the thief. I'd kept them afloat. I wanted to post it all. The statement, the checks, the funeral. Burn it all down. My thumb sat on the button. Then I closed the app. Public shaming was her weapon. If I posted, I'd be just another woman screaming. No. If I was going to answer, I'd do it with the truth on stage, not my temper. The invitation came from Grant. Mom's doing the farm's 40th anniversary dinner at the church Saturday. She thinks it'd be good if you came and we settled things like adults. I read it 3 times. Marlene wasn't making peace, she was building a courtroom. The widow honored before the congregation, and in the middle, the ungrateful ex-wife who owed $80,000. If I didn't show, my absence confirmed it. If I showed and crumbled, that confirmed it too. She designed a room with no exit. That was the mistake. She wanted an audience. So did I. I texted back, "Tell your mother I'll be there." Saturday evening, I drove to the church hall with 2 envelopes, Tom's itemized statement and Rebecca's letter confirming the invoice had no legal standing. The hall was warm, yellow lights, a banner, 40 years of Voss family farm. Marlene sat at the head like a matriarch. Heads turned when I walked in. Bethany smiled tight. Dale hovered. Grant looked away. I sat near the middle, folded my hands, and waited. Marlene stood. The room quieted. She spoke of Walter, 40 years of dawn and droughts, her voice catching. Then she turned toward me. "I didn't want to do this here. But Anna, I paid for your wedding, $80,000. When you left my son, you left that debt. Family pays its debts. So I'll ask you in front of everyone, when are you going to make it right?" I stood slowly. Calm. "Thank you, Marlene. You're right about the most important thing. Family pays its debts." I believe that. Confusion. I'd agreed. "You paid for my wedding, real and generous. But let's hear both sides of the ledger." I held up Rebecca's letter. "My attorney confirms, no legal basis for this invoice. 0. A few faces shifted. Marlene's jaw tightened. "But I didn't come here for a legal argument. You keep talking about a debt. Let's settle the whole account. I opened Tom's statement. The room went still. I keep books for a living. Here's what I paid for this family. I read it aloud. Grant's truck, $18,400. DUI, $9,200. Marlene's roof, $14,500. Back taxes, $11,300. Food truck, $16,000, asterisk each number landed. Asterisk Bethany's tuition, $7,600. She went white. And when Walter died, this family couldn't afford his funeral. I paid it quietly. $6,800. The hall was so quiet I could hear the coffee urn. Marlene made a small broken sound. Let's add it up. $83,800. Marlene, you billed me $80,000. I'd already paid $83,800. By your own math, this family owes me $3,800. Marlene shattered. How dare you humiliate me? You twisted paper. That's what her kind does. Grant stood. Mom, stop. She's right. It's all true. Anna paid for all of it. Her own son confirming, that broke her. He looked at me, broken. You never should have had to carry any of that. 5 years too late. Then he sat down and let me stand alone, as he always had. I didn't raise my voice. I folded the statement, placed it beside her plate. Keep the invoice. Consider it paid with interest. I never charged you. I don't want the $3,800. I only wanted you to stop telling this town I stole from you when I'm the reason you still have a roof, a farm, and a daughter with a diploma. She screamed, "Get out." I turned to leave. That's when the room spoke. An older woman stood, got my coat, held it out like I was a friend. A few men nodded gravely. A woman touched my arm. God bless you, honey. No one looked at Marlene. That was the verdict. I drove home under a sky full of stars, the green folder beside me. I put it back in its drawer. 2 days later, the certified letters stopped. No apology. Just silence, the first honest thing that family sent me in years. Bethany texted I'm sorry. I let it sit. Grant mailed a check for $3,800. No note. I never cashed it. I framed it beside Walter's receipt. The debt and the proof. The kindness and the record. That's how one invoice broke a lineage of lies. If you've ever paid for a family that forgot to count, tell me in the comments what you'd put on your own itemized list. Share this with someone who needs the reminder. Receipts and love were never enemies. Subscribe to Lineage of Lies. Keep your receipts. I'll see you in the next one.